this show going, man.
Hurry up, hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up!
Hurry up!
Come on now. We're gonna have action soon. Right here. It ain't going nowhere.
Boy, yeah, you got some technique, boy. You ain't show me that this summer.
Hey, wild cat.
Ball at the 5, third down and 2.
That was bad.
Let's go have some fun, bro. We ain't got to talk about too much.
He wasn't playing the ball.
It's holding.
Cliff, the Cliff. How is that not called?
That ain't gonna call a damn thing.
What is the delay for? He's standing right there.
He's taking a card out. He's a piece of paper.
It's that close? Dear Lord.
Hello and welcome, we the Aussie Guys. I'm AJ. Here with me is G. How are you, G?
Take two, good.
Take two. This doesn't
Computer
happen to us this often, but we just did have a computer crash. And in the previous edition, you spilt beer all over the floor. So
It wasn't beer. Apple cider.
Oh, apple cider.
Get it right. My dirty granny was on the floor.
Yes, your dirty granny was all over the floor. So look, it's a restart on lots of levels. Drinks of the pod, G. You've already mentioned your dirty granny.
I have dirty. I didn't actually realise until I read the back of it. It's part of the CUB Corporation, so I wouldn't have bought it if I knew that.
You're not a fan of CUB brewing?
No, I just the little man. Just want to help out the little man, not these. But then again, probably every side of that drink comes from a major corporation anyway. So
Deep down.
yeah,
And they sort of style it so it looks like it's from a microbrewery, but it really isn't.
no. So I just like the name, Dirty Granny. I don't know. Do you have a dirty granny?
No.
You did have a dirty? No. My granny was far from dirty. She was God-fearing woman. She was.
Was she?
She was a God-fearing woman. Yes.
And you got me the Furphy. Just in the interim, while I was rebooting the computer, the analyst tweeted us and said something to the effect of like, you know, it's from a champion place or something. And we're thinking, what's this all about? Brewed in Geelong. That's why. So
Where's the champion place?
Geelong, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. I won't be invited back down there again.
But it's nice. It's nice. So, yeah, thank you very much, G.
No problems.
How was your week?
Not too bad, mate. Busy as always. Getting through things. Shoulder up, obviously, has put me behind the 8 ball.
Yes.
But slowly popping the rest of it, mate, and trying to get back to finishing the game.
Well, I don't know if you caught Thursday night football.
I didn't know. I'm at work. I'm not a school teacher, and you probably had the day off. Did you not?
No, what are you talking about?
Mate, this is what you school teachers do. You're always like, mate, I know from a fact that, like, my son goes back to school after 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
And then one day later, you're having, like, some curriculum day or...
We've only just gone back. We've been on holiday. We've just gone back now.
Have you had a day off this week?
Yeah, okay, Monday. But it wasn't a day off.
No, that's fine. That's part of the holiday.
It was a staff day.
My son had the same day off.
It was a staff day.
It's staff. 2 weeks off. Got to have a staff day.
Yeah, but we were at work.
Okay.
Now, Thursday night football, and you did actually tell me a little anecdote.
From that.
You did actually tell me a little anecdote in the previous recording, so I'm just trying to prompt you to tell it again. So, Thursday night football, G. Did you watch the game? Oh, you wouldn't believe it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you for
That's
jogging
how
my
you
memory.
started.
Yeah, I was at work and I didn't realise what the time was, and it's like 11:22,
Yes.
and I've gone, Eli Manning.
And for the people not on the Australian East Coast, 11:20 was kickoff.
Yes, it was.
AM.
So I looked at it. It was at 11:22. I've gone. So I quickly raced in. Maybe something's happened, and no, not a chance. Not a chance. Like it's a 2 quarterback league. I had him in there because I just hadn't taken him out. Would I have got anybody else to play? I've got Josh Allen to play. He probably would have to what we saw today, or the numbers that he put up from following it on my phone. Josh Allen probably run that many yards this week. I would have just taken him out. I would have been better off playing a kicker.
I don't think you can play a kicker in a superflex, can you? Position?
Superflex. Can I play a kicker?
Don't think
Is
so.
it okay.
I think you can play almost anything
I
else.
probably could have pulled some tight end off the waiver wire.
Oh,
that
tight
no
ends?
one's got.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm probably. Mate, with that score that you put up, I probably could have.
Probably. Ugh. Look, on the plus side, G, even though you did have Eli in your lineup, you're actually not a Giants fan.
No.
That would be worse.
That'd be hard. Look, I'll give my... I've got a couple of family members who are Giants fans.
Yes.
I might actually give him a bell this weekend and just ask him how they're going with it.
Maybe not. No.
Maybe, no?
No.
Okay.
Now, the Eagles made easy work. Alshon, I think, had 2 touchdowns. Pat Shurmur was clearly frustrated at the press conference in response to questions about effort. OBJ was making a bit of a... Well, look, how do you
someone's
spell...
putting in a bit of effort. Someone didn't run for 200 yards. Oh, he basically did, but it's either handed to him or thrown to him.
Saquon Barkley looked
Yes.
fantastic. But OBJ is living up to the diva label. It's just all sorts of antics on the sideline. He walked off the field just before the half. Now, Pat Shurmur defended him in the press conference by saying that he was dehydrated. 1 minute on the sideline.
Was he on the field? No, he was on the sideline and
Yes.
he walked off.
Yeah, but then...
He dehydrated on the side. There was no one there to give him a drink. All those Gatorade bottles, people walking around. All you have to do is open your mouth and someone comes up and squirts. There's people walking around with their arms in the air, non-stop the whole game, just squirting Gatorade into their mouth.
Oh, look.
You don't even have to go get your own. Just open your mouth.
Yeah, and the Giants' offense went back on the field. This is just before the half. So the offense is on, OBJ is off the field. Now, you can't tell me that it just is a show of... You know, as being a good teammate, he couldn't have stayed on the sideline for 1 minute.
Mate, he was fantastic in the off-season. He didn't have a contract. He came, he did the pre-season.
Did the team thing.
Did the team thing. He did have, what did he say? He had an interview before last week's game and said a few things he had to apologise for to the team. A leopard doesn't change the spots. They either get bigger or smaller, but they never change, do they? So he is who he is.
That's true.
And now he's been paid. I don't think he really... gives a fly, does he?
I suppose. Last Monday, the Packers were defeated by the Lions, 31-23. The game was notable for what reason?
That I said sit Aaron Rodgers, and he was the highest scoring quarterback last week. How's that? Pretty good.
Well,
No?
that
was
not quite. Incidentally, he had a setback in that game with his knee. He may be wearing a bigger brace this week, so that's not good news.
I said it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, Mason Crosby. He missed 5 kicks. Now, you know, kicking is a head game. It definitely is. But he missed 5 kicks, 4 field goals, 1 extra point. Would have accounted for 13 points, which would have given them the game. Became the first Packers kicker since 1967 to miss 4 field goals. Ugh.
Actually, the whole of last weekend and the games that I watched, mate, and the week before, that kickers have been terrible.
Yeah, they have, actually. More news. Now...
Maybe you should have a drink when I'm talking, not when you're about to talk.
I know, but people won't realise because I would have
Edit it
edited
out.
that gap out. But there was actually quite a substantial gap where you stopped talking and I was just mid-drink. Yeah, I know. Le'Veon Bell said he's going to end his holdout and return to the Steelers during the team's bye in Week 7. That would make his first game against the Browns in Week 8 if they put him on the field.
He gets paid for Week 7?
Yes, cheeky, isn't it? Mind you, Pittsburgh is 1-2-1 after Sunday night's loss to the Ravens. He would likely have to sign his franchise tag upon returning, but he's still hoping to land a long-term deal with the Steelers, according to Lev Bell. But, I mean, come on. Really? He's done, isn't he, at the Steelers?
Why would you franchise him
Tag.
Why would you franchise tag him twice?
Yes.
And then give him all that money and then sign him to a long-term deal? Just make...
Yeah, but they've made him offers in the past, so it's really a done deal. So, anyway, more news during the week. Jay Ajayi done for the year with a torn ACL.
It's Dirty Granny's not a very good drink.
No?
No.
No good.
I should have got the cruiser. I was going to get like a vodka cruiser.
Oh, were you? That's a bit boring. This is a bit different, at least.
Well, I was going to get something sweet.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to get you a bitter because we're playing each other this week and they're too legit to quit. No, too legit to be it.
Shepsy just fell off his chair. Too legit to not be lit.
Yes, okay, that league. So we're playing each other. I was going to get you a bitter because at the end of this week,
I will be bitter.
You will be bitter.
My team's not very good.
Victory for me. Your team sucks.
Yeah, you're going to kill me.
Sucks.
Yeah, it does. I admit. I'm already looking to 2019.
And I got Zach Ertz and Jeffrey in my team.
Oh
no, I don't. I have no idea. I got so many teams, but I don't even know who's on my teams.
That would be tough if you're playing against Ertz and Jeffrey this week.
Well, actually,
in a league.
me and the analysts have Ertz and Jeffrey on our Villains League.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, very nice. Blofeld.
What a great villain.
Mr. Bond. I don't know if he sounds like that. Can't remember.
So you expect me to talk? Goldfinger. Oh, that's
No,
Goldfinger.
that's Goldfinger. He got the wrong.
Damn it. I'm still a villain.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
Yeah, it's a great line.
It's sort of like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't he
like that.
American, though?
Who?
Goldfinger.
Yes.
Well, why did I use sort of like a
I have
German accent?
No, I have no. You went the Blofeld line.
But I have a feeling he's got an accent. I have to watch it back after this.
Yeah.
But Blofeld is played by that guy.
Blofeld's played by many people.
Well, true, but the original one
The original one
is the guy who was in Halloween.
I was going to say Ernest Borgnine, but it's not Ernest.
It's not Ernest Borgnine. That would be funny.
In Halloween.
Yeah, you know the
Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance.
Bang, there we go.
Boom. Nailed it. Well, sort of. Apart from Ernest Borgnine. Yes, I was just saying J.J. is done for the year with a torn ACL, so Corey Clements and Wendell Smallwood in the backfield now, which is a bit but I think Clements did all right today.
A touchdown.
Yes.
I don't think they were, like, as far, I don't know what the PPR score, but in our league, I think it's half-point PPR.
Yeah.
And they both played against me, the guy, and actually that's the standard league. It's our first. And I think that he was like maybe 20-odd points for both of them. So neither of them were like top scorers, maybe 10 and 13 maybe, possibly.
Yeah. The first of the London games is on this week. The Raiders take on the
Wembley.
Seahawks. Wembley. There are 3 London games this year, and they're all in consecutive weeks. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I do.
So this week, next week, the one after.
What's next week? Is it Chargers Titans? I think next
Could
week.
be.
I can't tell you the third one. Sorry.
They actually all seem like. Well, actually, I was going to say seem like decent games. Sort of. I think they're good. They'd be good teams to watch. You know what I mean? Like Raiders, Seahawks, I'm not really hopeful for a good game, but I think there'd be good teams to watch. Yes.
As far as who people follow?
Correct. Yeah. Big supporter bases. Gee, say, kick it in the butt. Pick it in the butt. I can't do it. Kick it in the guts, Barry.
We don't need me to say, you just did it. Well done.
Turn on the nitro. All right.
She sucks nitro.
Oh, she sucks nitro. She's
My
the duck's
God.
guts. Yeah. All right, I got it.
Kick it in the guts, Barry. Shut the gate on this one, Maxie. It's the duck's guts.
Yeah, she's the last of the V8. She sucks nitro.
So, quarterback G, this week.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All right.
How many have you got? We don't have any Sheps this week. Now, people have probably already noticed that Sheps is not on. Now, when we sign Sheps up, now, is this a performance-based contract that we put him on? Is there incentive laden?
It might be incentive laden.
Because I reckon you'd have to have at least 50%
Attendance
rate. And at the moment, he's running at 50%. The amount that we give him is not a huge amount, but I reckon we gets paid in licorice. And I reckon the way he's going from the Darryl Lee, which is the top, mate, to some like Allen's. The way he's going, that's what he's going to get paid in.
Allen's?
Whoever makes crap licorice.
If anyone's listening from Allen's, I apologise sincerely.
I don't need licorice, so I don't really care.
I can't say either way. I
I don't
love
need
it.
Allen's.
I love licorice.
I only eat those little Natural Confession Company.
Oh, they're very good. If anyone's listening from National Confectionery Company, want to throw us some coin,
Mate, don't worry about coins. Just give me some lollies.
some snakes,
Some soft chews. Oh,
Yeah.
I love the snakes. Love the snakes. Favourite colour?
snake,
Yeah.
red. Mm-hmm. Okay,
I'm with you.
now that we've done that. So, speaking of snakes, red even, Jameis Winston, this week, making his first start of 2018. He's playing the Falcons. I'm sorry, G. I'm going to do it's a little bit, but Tampa Bay is...
Mate, I picked on him a lot last week, and it probably paid off the last 2 weeks. Since
what can you do? It's not like your defense hasn't got an excuse. It's got plenty.
Tank.
Not tank.
Tank now.
The Falcons?
Yeah, tank.
No.
If you lose this week, just start. It's gone. Finished. The season's gone.
Really?
Yep.
Tank?
Yep.
No. Crazy.
Well, it would be 1-5. Tank.
Would you really be 1-5?
Yep.
My goodness. Falcons have given up the 5th most points to quarterbacks, and Winston has had 2 weeks to prepare for this matchup. Also, I kind of feel like...
He's had 2 weeks. He's had longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know he has, true. Also, I kind of feel like nothing's been said officially or anything. I just feel that this is kind of the chance or last chance for Winston, and he's got to make this go of it impressive. With everything else...
After what Fitzpatrick did last week, I don't think he has to worry about...
No.
Oh, you mean like his career?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because of all the extracurricular.
Well, he's going to play the rest of this year because I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to put Fitz back on the field. But then again, they might arc him up in 3 weeks' time and he might be okay.
Who knows? Who do you have?
I I put out, did you see the rant? You would have seen the rant in our group message that we have.
Oh, what was that again?
About
did.
Jameis Winston.
Remind me.
I was on the NFL site and I don't use it for anything bar the fact that we play one league on
Yes,
there.
correct.
Our redraft league.
That's right.
And then, and so I'm just going through I thought, I wonder what they say about Jameis Winston. So I
Yeah.
went on to the Jameis Winston, and they made a comment that he came on in the second half, he threw for 145 yards, and the comment was that at least he was able to move the offense. Now, seriously, 145 yards, he threw 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown, okay? So that equates to 72.5 yards a quarter. Is that moving the offense?
A little bit. Not really.
Patty Mahomes does that one on one pass.
One drive.
One pass.
That's right.
Don't worry about the whole drive. So that works out. So let's just put this in context, okay? So if he played the whole game based on that, he would have had 290 yards, 2 TDs, 4 interceptions. Now in a 6-point touchdown league, and you also have like a 4-point interception point loss.
What? 4?
Is it
minus 4?
Is it minus 4?
No.
What is it?
I don't know any league that minuses 4.
What is it?
Well, Scotty Fish this year is minus 2.
Minus 2, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so minus 2, that would have ended up with 15.5 fantasy points.
Pretty average, isn't it? Bad, actually.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just...
It's funny that these days, a 300-yard game is kind of the line that you need to cross for it to be called acceptable.
Yep.
And if it's below that, it's not a good day.
Unless he's thrown 3 TDs. I think Wentz today, what did Wentz have? Was he under 300 yards? He was high 200s, 3 TDs. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, 3 TDs, though.
Off the top. Yeah, but that's what you need to make it up.
Precisely. So, who do you have? Who's your quarterback?
Start quarterback this. I'm going the three-peat, the trifecta, the menage a trois, and the hat trick with Matty Ryan. 3rd week in a row I'm starting Matty Ryan. Now, last week, granted, wasn't his greatest of week, 14.4 fantasy points up against the Steelers. He's ranked number 3 amongst quarterbacks in standard scoring leagues. And look, mate, you can give him 1 week off. The 3 previous weeks, he's had 30.6, 40.1, and 29.2. Now, this week he goes up against Tampa Bay. And he's playing at home. So, at home this year, Ryan's combined totals is 1,065 yards, 10 TDs, 1 interception. He scored 100.1 fantasy points at home this year.
How many home games have they had?
3.
Okay.
So he's averaging 355 yards on 34 passes. He's completing 26 of them on average, with a completion rate of 76.4%, and he's thrown 3.33 touchdowns per home game. And he's going up against a Tampa Bay defense that ain't too good against quarterbacks. They're actually ranked number 32, giving up the most fantasy points of 28.6.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, I do. I have Kirk Cousins up against the Cards this week. Now, the Cards have been really good against quarterbacks, actually, and wide receivers. Yeah, the number 6 against quarterbacks, the 15th in yards given up, so the middle of the road, but they are the second best. They've only given up 5 TDs to quarterbacks this year. Now, the Cards are amongst the top 10 defenses in the league so far, but granted, I think they scored what did they get last week? Some ridiculous number against the 49ers, less Jimmy G. I think what were they like? Was it like 21 fantasy points in standard scoring last week? So that's really bumped them up. But however, I think this week's going to be a different week. The Cousins at home, the Vikings at home, and I can tell you right now, the Vikings D are not going to get torched again by a rookie quarterback. They've already been torched by Josh Allen. I don't think they're going to let it happen to Rosen. I think based on that, they're going to be fired up. They're going to be angry. They're going to give Kurt plenty of time on the field this week. The Cards so far have played the Redskins, the Bears, and the Seahawks. So they play against the Redskins, where the top 2 receivers for the Redskins that day were both running backs. The Bears, let's face it, Trubisky, who the hell knows what you're getting on any given week with him at quarterback. The Seahawks, no receivers really, outside of Tyler Lockett. And we've already spoke about Russell. It just doesn't look like Russell, does he? Russell Wilson.
No, he doesn't. No.
He doesn't. Now, the only good team they play with a proper offense with actual wide receivers, as they do in Phelan and Diggs, they got blown away by the Rams. So let's look at that. And let's look who Kirk Cousins is thrown to this week. He has Phelan, who's the number 1 standard scoring wide receiver at the moment. Stefan Diggs at number 11.
Isn't that unreal?
Kyle Rudolph is number 6 in tight ends. The only problem there is the running backs, but who cares about running backs because we're not worried about Kirk Cousins throwing to them or handing it off. And Murray's at 57 and Cooks is at 58, who practiced fully this week, actually. So that'll be good. But Kirk Cousins, mate.
Very good. Let's go to running backs. I've got 2. First cab off the rank, I've got Aaron Jones.
You're a big Aaron Jones fan, aren't you?
I am, actually.
One day, though, McCarthy actually realised that he's the better back.
Yeah, and I actually wrote this down. I wrote, Mike McCarthy's been the biggest question, actually, in the backfield. Not Aaron Jones.
Oh, I think Aaron Rodgers is probably thinking that McCarthy's been the biggest question mark in Green Bay for many a year.
Full stop. Yeah, maybe. But things are working themselves out. Now, Jones had 7 carries for 40 yards last week, but the pack fell behind the Lions really early. The game script changed. His stats so far are 24 carries for 147 yards with a 6.1 yards per carry average and 1 touchdown. So he's gradually, and remembering that he had the time off at the beginning, the Niners have allowed the 8th most points to running backs. So I think he is starting to hit his stride. Second guy I've got is Sony Michel. Do you have him?
I do. Down the bottom, I just got a couple of guys just thrown in there, and Sony is one of them.
Hey. Now, Sony's coming off his best game as a pro, 110 total yards and a score. Now, James White's being used, but it's actually not really affecting Sony's value. They're both being used. I think part of it is the lack of weapons in New England. So Sony Michel, James White getting lots of work. Also, I think he's now got Bill's trust, which is actually a big deal. Now, KC is 31st versus running backs. They're giving up an average of 27.2 fantasy points per game. So those are my 2.
Excellent, mate. Well, I've got Chris Carson going up against the Raiders this week, and that's purely based on the fact that when I sat down and watched them last week, he looked fantastic. He was one of the best backs outside of Gurley, because Gurley does it every week, so just expect that. But in all the backs that I watched, mate, he looked explosive and powerful. He looked fantastic. Up against the Raiders this week, who are ranked 28th against running backs, giving up 24.8 fantasy points. Now, the game, obviously, as we said at the start of the show, is in Wembley.
It's in London.
Yes. Daddy, can I have another pony? I can't do it. My kids can do it really well.
What?
I can't do it. I have no... Is
it in Lancashire? No. Manchester.
My dad's from Lancashire.
Is he?
He is. Hey, Joe, if you're listening, I know you're not. Mum is. Hey, Ma. Our only listener. So, look, he had some really hard, tough runs last week, and he just happens to be playing the Raiders this week, which really helps because they are giving up. They're 4th in yards given up, 4th in TDs allowed. on the 11th most run attempts. He's a really good start this week. And look, in these last two starts, he up against Dallas, he ran for 102 yards, 1 TD and 22 yards receptioning. And the week before, and he, up against the Rams, he ran for 116. So and he had the last week had the TD sniped by bloody Davis at the goal line. Like he gets it all the way. That doesn't really annoy you when you're watching the game.
Absolutely.
Someone takes it all the way down there, and then they bring in the other back and say, "Do you reckon it really pisses them off?"
It must. Surely it must.
Because he had some really good runs to get him down there.
Yeah.
And they just said, boom, nah.
Anyone else?
Yes, I do. I have TJ Yeldon this week up against Dallas. Now, Dallas's D is pretty good. They're giving up 15.3 fantasy points. But look, there's no Leonard Fournette. He's not going to play this week.
Maybe not for a couple.
Yeah, maybe not for a couple. That hamstring is not good at all. He's going to get a ton. He's going to get a ton of work. Dallas's pass defense has been really good. He can do everything too, TJ Yeldon.
I should have gone ping.
He's only sitting one spot outside the top 10 of standard scoring leagues running backs. So in the last 2 weeks, he's gone 52, 1 TD, 48 yards receiving and 1 TD against the Jets. And last week, he had 53 yards, 69 through the air, and 1 TD against the Chiefs. And you put in Sony Michel versus the Chiefs. I also put Naheem Hines this week up against the Jets.
Nice.
Would be a nice little pickup. I think T.Y.'s not in again.
PPR, sneaky play.
Yes.
All right, wide receiver. I've got 2. Chris Godwin.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Now, Godwin's actually been quietly very good. I don't know if you realise, because I didn't realise. I don't think I've got him on any fantasy squads.
No.
Apart from a bad game week 4, which was actually
I don't know.
a bad game for the whole team.
Got too many teams.
Too many. I suffer from that too. Godwin's had a total of 15 receptions for 193 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, the Falcons' D are absolutely not going to be able to cover Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, and Chris Godwin. The Falcons are giving up the 5th most points to wide receivers. So Chris Godwin's my first. My second is, I'm just flipping it over, giving you some love, Mohamed Sanu. On the other side of the field, same game, I know, but the Bucks are giving up the 2nd most points to wide receivers. I mean, this one's got fantasy gold written all over it, hasn't it, this game?
For the Falcons, it has this week. They'll win this week.
And the Bucks.
Someone's in the sit.
Oh, really? Well, anyway, tell me for now. Hit me with the Ducks guts.
Ducks guts. Josh Gordon.
What?
Up
Really?
against the Chiefs in New England, giving up 24.3 fantasy points. Now, granted, it's probably the best position in fantasy is against wide receivers. The Chiefs. They're ranked 18th. Quarterbacks are ranked 28th. Running backs are ranked 31st. Tight ends are ranked 30th. So I've probably picked a bit of a fly here. But on the road this year, the Chiefs have given up against the Chargers 424 yards, 3 TDs. The Steelers, 452 yards, 3 TDs. Versus the Broncos with Case Bloody Keenum throwing the ball. They gave up 245 yards, no TDs. Well done, Case.
Huh.
Useless.
Okay.
So, look, Brady, what did he have last week? He had, 50 yards and a TD. Now, did you see the TD that he caught?
No.
Mate, Brady held it down, 25-yard, 30-yard pass. He was defended by 2 guys, both of them neither watching the ball, and he just split the 2 of them because both of them had no idea where the ball was. He just tracked the ball. Like, wouldn't you work out that once you're in the end zone and you're long, why don't you turn back and have a look at the ball? How much further can you go down the field?
I would think that would be logical.
He just split them. One ran past him, and he just ran between the 2 of them. And so if you're counting on, if that's how you're making your money in fantasy football with Josh Gordon, you're going to be disappointed more times than not because that's not going to happen very often.
No,
just a bomb like that it was like a Hail Mary pass covered by 2 guys. But Brady has shown the fact that he's willing to give him a go. He trusts him to throw it down the field. He knows he's an athlete. He knows he can go up and get it. And I think Brady has the big enough kahunas to do it.
Well, he certainly does.
And look, mate, you know, and you have to look at the other side of it. His snap count's going up every week, and it's just now that his is going up, Edelman's come back.
Yes.
So Chris Hogan started off at 100 and dropped to 91% snap count, and Dorsett's gone from 94 now with Edelman and Josh is going up 61%.
Ooh. And I was going to say, I don't think Chris Hogan is rosterable now.
I've spoken to the analyst about this, and he likes Chris Hogan. But to me, Chris Hogan is a very coverable, deep guy.
Fair call. Any other wide receivers?
I do. I have Tyler Lockett against the Raiders. We spoke about it at Wembley. The Raiders have given up 28.3 fantasy points. The 27th in fantasy points, 28th in yards, and 23rd in TDs, mate. I'm sorry. Your team sucks, to be honest.
Well, they do. I can't. What can I say?
And look, and again, just from watching the Rams game, like Tyler Lockett absolutely, he burnt Marcus Peters once.
Yeah.
Like, seriously burnt him. Actually, Marcus Peters got burnt twice in the same game. I think both for touchdowns too.
Really?
Yep. Look, there's no other options. Are you going to play Doug Baldwin?
Well, yes.
Are you?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
healthy now.
What about David Moore? You
No.
think going to pop up with 2 more TDs?
He's not?
No. What do you have? 2 TDs on, caught 3 or 4 targets. Like, come on, please. That's not going to happen again.
No.
Jerome Brown saw all of 9. So, now, Marshall saw 7. He was in the game for 7 snaps. What's going on?
7.
7.
That's madness, isn't it? Maybe he's dinged up.
I have no idea.
But then again, Pete Carroll.
I was going to say, do they struggle with the passing game in Seattle?
Does he struggle? What do you
with
mean?
it? Well, they had Jimmy Graham there. He didn't really know. Like, Jimmy Graham still scored, what did he score? 10 touchdowns?
He did all right.
But if you look at his yardage, once they get in the red zone, they throw it to him. But his yardage was terrible.
Yeah.
And now he's not using Marshall. Is it Marshall? Is it Pete Carroll just doesn't understand? He's just not a throw the ball type of coach.
Or is it Wilson?
Or is it Wilson? I already said that last week, that Wilson just doesn't look the same guy. Once he gets out of the pocket, he doesn't seem to have that elusiveness that he had before, that aura that he can't be touched.
Yes.
He's lost that.
Yeah. I tend to think it's Pete Carroll more than Russell Wilson.
Another one I have, just a quick one, I have Sammy Watkins this week up against the Patriots for the mere fact that everybody knows that Belichick likes to take away something from your offense. Where do you take it away from?
The freak.
So there we go. Sammy Watkins is
Or Kelsey.
Kelsey. Well,
ooh, you have to take.
So you take one away. You scheme something against the other 2.
Yes.
You're asking a lot from your defense,
Travis Kelce.
and you're up against someone that can. We'll talk about Paddy. I'm going to talk about Paddy again later down. But
what a matchup! Kelsey and Gronk on the same field.
Yes, and look, mate. At the moment, Kelsey's the number 1 tight end in the league.
He is. And I mean,
I don't know if it's numbers with what Ertz did today, but when you just watch them play,
oh yeah, and I mean he's got his health, whereas Gronk is. I mean, maybe it's just that's a thing because we see that with tight ends generally, don't we? That the health starts to wear on them.
Oh, mate, they
take punishment.
His body's been put through a hell of a lot.
Yeah, obviously Eifert getting knocked. You know, he's on IR now, and that could be his career. But who knows? It was ankle. But speaking of which, tight end. I sort of did a G this week.
Mate, how can you not do a G?
I know.
How do you not do it? How do you even contemplate sitting a tight end?
Because I tell you why. Because I was looking through the list and thinking, which one do I sit? And I thought, if I had these guys and no one else, I'd play them.
But even if you had them and you had another tight end, unless you took 2 early tight ends,
yeah,
that'd be the only reason you wouldn't play 2. You wouldn't play the other one of them.
Yes. So I've actually got 3 that I think are
Okay.
possibly good matchup. Well, when I say that, you're rolling the dice, obviously, with tight end, but I think these ones could be sort of weighted a little bit in your favour.
Okay.
First one is
Ertz, Kelsey, Gronk.
No, not obvious
okay.
ones.
Okay.
David Njoku. Now, Cleveland's
God, I
playing
hope
the
so, mate.
Chargers.
I've got him in a few leagues, and
He's trending in the right direction. 17 targets in the last 2 weeks. But the Chargers are fairly stingy against tight ends. But anyway, I just think it's a good situation. Cameron Brate. Now, I'm sorry I'm picking on the Falcons again, G.
I have for the last 3 weeks.
But OJ Howard potentially won't be playing. There's a good chance. And Winston, we know Winston likes to target Cameron Brate, especially in the red zone. So that's a good situation. And the other one that I had is Eric Ebron. And I know that might be sort of semi-obvious, but I almost put him in my sits. But I actually think that's stupid. Because if you have him...
Very stupid.
There's no way you're going to sit Eric Ebron.
No. I drafted him for the first time ever this year.
Right.
I ain't sitting him.
But I thought it was worth saying this. Jack Doyle's coming back. So Jack Doyle's been on the injury shelf for the last 3 weeks.
Ebron still put up points.
During that time...
Doyle
yeah, I
there.
know. Well, I was about to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Ebron's been averaging 12 targets per contest. Last week against the Pats, he was targeted 15 times, which is a PB for Ebron. Never been targeted 15 times before, and he had 9 for 105 and 2 TDs. Now, the Jets D has surrendered the third fewest tight end points. So, that's not good, I know, but Indy actually has so few weapons. I mean, their running game is just terrible. The Jets are actually giving up the 7th most points to wide receivers. So Indy in general are just going to be throwing the ball, and Doyle and Ebron are both going to be targets because, as we said, the wide receiver core is not good. Yeah. So anyway, there you go, 3.
Okay, well, look, I've done what I usually do, but look, the way I've gone about this week is guys you could probably go out and get. If you had ASJ, he's gone he's been put on IR with a core muscle injury. So Niles Paul, and Niles Paul looked okay last week. Didn't put up big points, maybe 35 yards just off the top of my head. But Niles Paul is someone you could go out and grab. As AJ said, with OJ Howard has the MCL strain. Cameron Brate was. I saw him in a ton of leagues. He was dropped. So maybe he's still floating out there. Go and grab him and start him because you've got to start everybody you can get that has a tight end in front of their name. And Cook and Cup were in the concussion protocol, but I haven't heard. I'm guessing they'll probably line up this week. But if not, go and have a look at Tyler Higbee. He leads the tight ends in targets for the Rams, and they're up against Seattle.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, I led him against Seattle.
Yes. Any more?
No, mate. That's like I said, we got one started.
All right, G, what do you say if you're on a camel and the camel keeps running and you don't know what to do? You say,
"Whoa, camel!"
Well done.
Yeah, mule! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Whoa, camel! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, camel! Whoa! Oh, come on, whoa! When I say whoa, I mean whoa!
So, Woe Camel this week. So, the sits at quarterback. Shall I start?
No, I'll go this time.
Yeah, go.
I'll take it off you. So, it's the sit this week, Ryan Tannehill up against the Bears in Miami.
Good one.
They're only giving up 14 fantasy points. And, the Bears defense is pretty serious.
It is serious.
Pull back the curtain a little bit. I started to read what I've written down here, and I actually feel like I'm making the case to start him.
Right.
But look, in the end, it is the Bears that he's playing against, and we've seen what the Bears do. His away average is 194.4 yards. At home, it's 259.5.
Okay. Right.
His season high was against the Raiders at home with 26.1. And his past 2 weeks have been, they've been tough. They've been up against the Pats here. He threw for 100 yards and 1 INT. And the Bengals, he threw for 185 yards, 1 TD and 2 interceptions. But like I said, he's been better at home. But, mate, you have to, it's also been the competition. And the competition this week is the Chicago Bears. And that defense got Khalil Mack coming off the edge. and I think he's going to really struggle to get passes away, especially deep passes. So I'm making a case for him, but in the end, he's playing against the Bears.
They are for real.
They are. My second one is Phillip Rivers against the Browns this week. Now, a lot of people have been putting Phillip Rivers sort of like on the, you're still going to start him, and some people are going to start him. Some people are like, yeah, but no one has said that I've listened to that they're not going to play him. And they don't give, which I believe is a really major stat. The Browns they're not the Browns this year. The defense is very good.
Yeah.
They are ranked number 7 against quarterbacks. They're only giving up 14.6 fantasy points. Now, Rivers last week, granted here I go, I'll give you the positive first, only missed 5 throws of all of last week.
Isn't that incredible?
It is. It is fantastic effort. Now, Rivers has consistently thrown for 21-plus fantasy points this year. However, let's look at the Browns. Let's forget about Phillip Rivers. Let's look at the Browns. Look at the defense he's playing against. In the 3 games they played at home this year, they have played against Ben Roethlisberger, who threw for 335 yards, 1 TD, 3 interceptions. Sam Darnold threw for 169 yards, 2 interceptions. And Joe Flacco threw for 298 and 1 interception, no touchdowns. So on average at home, they're only giving up 267 yards, 0.3 of a touchdown, and 2 interceptions per game, and that equates to only 7.66 fantasy points to quarterbacks at home this year.
Wow. And can I throw something in there? My pick for Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, who's actually having a very good year. If it wasn't for Khalil Mack, maybe he'd be getting a lot more press. His numbers on the year, 21 tackles, 4 assists, 5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He's having a great year. That's just, by way of example. But, I mean, that Browns team...
What's the offensive line down there in Chargers world like?
Above average.
Above average?
Yeah.
Okay.
Above average. I mean, look at what Melvin Gordon's doing. He's having a fantastic...
But he's also getting a lot of passes, more catches out of the backfield too, which is really helping him. That's really, jumped his and stocked his numbers this year.
My word, it has. And Austin Eckler.
He just seems to get that one, doesn't he? He's quick. He's seriously quick.
He is quick.
He has a really good burst, and he has a really nice side lateral move. And another one I just want to throw in there, I'm going to put in Jameis Winston because everybody, including your good self, has got start Jameis Winston. Well, screw all you guys. I'm going to be the only one that's right this week.
You're going home. Is that right? Screw you guys?
Yep.
I'm going home?
Based on what I just told you about what he did last week, yep. I just want to put him in there. That's just it. I'm just...
Did you just say yep?
Yep.
Was that your analysis?
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
Why are you sitting him?
Just because everybody has to start him. That's the only reason.
Well, I'm sitting Derek Carr this week. Derek Carr's been bad. Also, the Seahawks are giving up the 4th fewest points to quarterbacks. Also, the games in London, and I reckon the London games are a bit funky. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they're never quite what you expect, and I sort of feel like, I wouldn't be expecting Derek. Well, look, it could be just as likely that Derek Carr could throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, but probably won't happen. Derek Carr, he's a sit. Running backs,
yay! Segue. Before we get on to that, I was going to say, Marshawn Lynch, like the old revenge game. Oh God, revenge game, chips on the shoulder. Give us a spell, seriously. Can you have a revenge game when you're actually not playing at your home ground? You're not even playing where you used to play.
Yeah,
you're playing in a totally. You can't have a revenge. The atmosphere, the whole stadium, everything about it doesn't have the same feel, does it?
No, because the thing that really now, there will be a lot of Raider fans, there will be a lot of Seahawks fans, but there'll be a lot of fans full stop. I mean, that's really the London games, isn't it? You're fans of 32 teams.
Yes.
And in fairness, Marshawn retired.
I was going to put him in my sits this week.
Right. Marshawn retired.
I didn't have respect for you.
It wasn't like he was dropped.
Unlike what you did to me, chucking everybody against the Falcons. That's fine, mate, if you want to go and do that.
I tipped the Falcons to win.
You have?
Yeah.
Of course.
There you go.
Tank.
Not
Just
tank.
Just tank it. Get a top draft pick. Away we go.
Anyway, keep going. So, Marshawn.
Okay, I've got Derrick Henry against the Ravens this week, who are giving up 11 fantasy points to running backs. He has been a complete and utter disappointment. It's got to the point now that I'm just going to cut him.
If you've got
Don't
him
worry
in a
about
dynasty,
sitting him.
he's untradeable.
You can't trade him.
No.
Well, you're not going to cut him because
could trade
someone
for
will go
him.
and pick him up and just sit him on, which I'm doing, just sit him on the bench. But
Yeah.
he hasn't had a game over 60 yards this year. He's had 3 games in the 50s, 2 games in the 20s, no TDs, has only caught 3 balls for 12 yards. Mate, Deion Lewis is the only running back to own in Tennessee.
He is.
Mate, and I reckon he was the starting running back as soon as his plane landed at Memphis International. That's what it seems like this year.
It does seem like it.
And look, the Ravens have only allowed 1 TD to a back this year so far. They've held Mixon to 84 yards, Freeman to 53 and a touch, Connor to 19, and Carlos Hyde to 63. So they've come up against some good backs this year. But out of your starting back, you're looking for more than what Freeman had, 53 and 1. What's that give you? 11 fantasy points? You'd like a little bit more from your number 1 running back. And, mate, he's not even a number 2. He's not even a flex option. He's a bench warmer.
That's right.
Another one I've got here is Alec Collins. Another disappointment. He goes up against the Tennessee Titans, who are giving up 12.5 fantasy points, and they must be all in yards because they are yet to give up a touchdown to a running back at all,
Wow.
whether it be rushing or receiving. They're number 27 in yards. So isn't that amazing? They're one of the ranked. I think they're ranked maybe the second best against running backs, and yet they're ranked 27 in yards.
Really? That's so strange. Okay.
So it's just that they haven't allowed any touchdowns. And I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think if you go and watch Collins is quite... He starts every game so well. It's like the first time they give him the ball, he breaks off like a 15-yard, 11, 12-yard run, breaks off another one, and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
A lot of it's probably got to do with game script. Javoris Allen's taken all the receiving yards away from him, some goal line carries. Yeah, I think he's only cracked 10 fantasy points maybe once this year.
Yes, I've got Alex Collins as well.
Oh, you do? And he
Yeah.
only played 27 of the 87 snaps last week.
Gee. Now, you pretty much summed it up, so I don't really need to add to it. I was just going to really say, I actually think it's Harbour more so. Buck Allen is out touching him. So you just can't trust the situation, unfortunately. It's a Harbour thing. It's a coaching thing.
All those hours of, what is that, Irish jig dancing or whatever he was doing. What was he doing? What's he learned?
Yeah, he can Irish dance.
Yeah. Is it got a name?
River
It's not-
dance.
Is it?
I don't think
I know
that's
it's called river dancing, but
Michael Flatley.
yeah.
No, but that's what it is.
He had to have like sex,
Yes,
like within 5 minutes of getting off stage every night.
that was the big story, wasn't it? He certainly had. Wasn't it just him and like 20 women
Pretty much
in the Riverdance team? Were there guys?
I think there were some guys in there, but I think they're mainly females.
I think it was mainly women, so he organised that, didn't he? Anyway, wide receiver, G.
Oh, wide receiver. Sorry, I haven't even got my piece of paper.
Maybe I should go first, because I've only got one.
Okay, go.
All right, I've got A-Rob.
I was actually going to stick him in there this year, but I think I stuck him in there last one. I think he's been in there a couple of times for me, so
I think he has, actually.
I don't want to beat down on the poor guy.
Now, I know he hasn't exactly set the world on fire, but part of this has been the slow progress of the Truth Bisky. Slow apart from last week. That's when the Truth Bisky, it was on fire. Man on fire. Now, the Finns pass D is actually very stingy and is 28th in PPR points to wide receivers. So I think this is not going to be an A-Rob game in particular. Who do you have to add in there, G?
Well, I'm going the other side of the ball, mate, and I'm going Kenny Stills. They're giving
a couple of bad ones.
They're giving up a healthy 25.3 fantasy points to wide receivers, but look, he's become so touchdown dependent in the games that he's played so far. In week 1, he had 22.6 fantasy points. He had 2 TDs and 106 yards. In week 3, he had 12.1 fantasy points. He had 61 yards and 1 TD. In the other 3 games with no TDs, he's had 17, 40, and 17. He's just not getting the looks unless they're deep balls. That's how he's getting all these. And you can't rely on that. That's just every week. And especially against the Bears D that we've already said is legit. They're going to give Tannehill absolutely no time to even look down the field. And Tannehill has shown a propensity to be a little bit flighty when the pressure's applied. So, yeah, good luck, Kenny Stills, going down the field and having any time for Tannehill to look your way.
Yep. Anyone else?
I do. Now, this is quite unusual. I got Keelan Cole and D.D. Westbrook.
Ooh, really?
No, which one of them do you play?
That's a tough call. And Bortles isn't exactly Superman, is he?
And now you throw in Moncrief. Moncrief had, I think, if I counted correctly, he had 347 targets last week. Mate, he was just... No, I'll do that again. And then you throw on top, you have Moncrief, who had... Mate, he had more targets than I have fingers and toes, I reckon.
Really?
I think he had like 15 targets last week.
Oh, that's
And it just seemed like he was the only wide receiver on the field. Now, this, like I said, this has become a problem. Which one of the Jags wide receivers do you start each week? Which one's the most talented? Which one gets the most looks? Well, last week it was Moncrief. Who's the most talented? I thought at one stage it was D.D. Westbrook, but I think it's Keelan Cole's the most talented athletically out of the tree. We're out of those two anyway. So, and the D's defense has been really good. Now, granted, in the last 2 weeks they have been burnt by Golden Tate, who took them to the bank with 132 and 2 TDs, and Hopkins 151. But that's not the point. The point is, which one of the two do you start? And I don't know. Do you start... I actually have teams with both of them on there. So far this year, Keelan Cole's had 54, 116 and 1, 40, 15 and 70 yards. Westbrook's had 51, 82, 1 TD, 31, 130 and 55. So judging by the numbers, Westbrook is the guy to go to. And if you have a look at Westbrook's targets and catches...
Yep.
He nearly pulls down everything that's thrown his way.
Okay.
So at the moment, I have Westbrook in front of the more talented Keelan Cole. But, mate, seriously, you're throwing a dart at the two names.
You are. That's a tricky one. Yeah, I agree. I've got lots of teams where I've got both.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Now, tight ends...
You'd rather just have one and then just play him.
Yeah, true. Tight end we already spoke about, so we're on to the next segment, G. You could say... Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, wing and a prayer. Wing and a prayer.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Is that good?
That was the singing's terrible. The singing's terrible. You have absolute. You are.
You know, to
tone
keep that
deaf.
Tone deaf.
And I'm not even going to try.
You know, to keep that dropped for the rest of the pods this year.
No, just put the soundtrack over the top, please.
Wing and a prayer. Now, when I was doing this, G, I was looking for the true definition of wing and a prayer, which I haven't necessarily hit all the time. Sometimes I throw a dart and it goes way off the dartboard and you call me on it, but you won't be able to call me on this time because this is the true definition of like, man, the bye weeks are crunching and their bye weeks are going to get much worse, right?
I've got a bad week this week.
Have you?
Bad. I have a lot of Saints.
And... I'm going to have to grab a guy off the waivers.
Ingram and Thomas in one team.
Oh.
That is not good.
No, that is not good.
I think I shed a tear when I looked at that lineup this week.
So wing and a prayer, you have to go and grab this guy off a waiver wire.
That's
and
good.
Put him in your
That's good. That's where they're meant to
lineup.
come from. Well, basically.
Josh Malone.
Josh Malone.
Yeah. Wing and a prayer. You can't accuse me of not going with the theme. For those going...
Who's he play for?
Who is he? He's a wide receiver for Cincinnati.
I'm asking you who's he play for.
You don't know. He's a Bengals wide receiver. Now, the Steelers are on the road in Cincy. Not only is Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, playing great, but you've got Gio injured. You've got Tyler Eifert done for the season. You've got Croft, who's banged up. I don't even know if he's playing. I don't think he is playing. CJ Uzomah, I think. Uzomah might be the starting tight end, but I don't know that he's really, I mean, honestly, come on. He's the third on the depth chart. Don't expect him to
I was a rat for him coming out a couple of years ago.
Were you?
Yes. We spoke. Go and rewind them all back and have a listen.
Now, the Steelers are giving up the third most points to wide receivers.
I've been wrong a hell of a lot.
Yes, both of us have. They're giving up the second most yards, and they're allowing the second most points to quarterbacks. Someone's got to catch the ball.
Tyler Boyd, I have a ton of Tyler Boyd.
Sure.
Please.
AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, but it's a wing and a prayer, Josh Malone. What if he just gets a couple of catches and he takes one to the house?
That's all you need.
There you go.
Just need one. Yeah, just one to the house. One catch, one to the house.
Yep.
Mate, you've done your job.
So it's a desperation play, but there you go. You like it?
Yeah, I try to stay away from wide receivers because there's so goddamn many of them out there.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I do like it. I seriously do like it. I've got Ronald Jones
Oh, that's nice.
up against the Falcons this week. Now, the Falcons have given up 46 receptions to backs this year already, and they've given up a total of 828 yards and 7 TDs. Peyton Barber ain't the guy, especially when he's only had 2 catches out of the backfield all year so far.
Yep.
Peyton Barber. In the debut of Jones last week, he had 28 yards on 11 touches from 20 snaps. I think up against the Falcons, we know how good the Falcons are against running backs.
Yes.
They are great, especially pass-catching backs. Don't start them against the Falcons. Massive slice of sarcasm in that.
That's right.
Got another one for you. Got a
nice.
couple.
Go.
Ito Smith.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Yeah.
I think he might be related to Mariota.
Mariota. Ito.
Ito. He might be from the same village.
Maybe.
The Bucks have given up more yards to receiving backs than they have to rushing backs. They've given up 276 yards on the ground and 328 yards and 2 TDs in the air. And a third one. You want a third one?
Yeah, give me a third one.
Chester Rogers
Ooh.
versus the Jets this week. Now, the Jets are also down Screen, Buster Screen and Johnson at cornerback. No TY.
No TY.
Boom. Done.
Boom, done. Very good. I like it. Next segment, G. Future waiver wire.
We got to come up with a drop for some of these, don't we?
Yeah,
Do we have one?
We could do a Back to the Future drop.
I've got to really pull my finger out and
Let's
do something else while you're
Marty,
there producing stuff.
got to send you Back to the Future. I don't know.
Well, he's going back. We need to go forward.
Oh, yeah, we do. We need to go forward.
We need to send you forward to the future. Is there a line like that in the movie?
Yeah. Got to see, you know, you've got
How about we do this?
got to
off
see
air?
how
We
your
do-
kids
we-
turn
we-
out,
we do-
Marty.
We
I
do,
got it.
we do post-production, not on
No,
air.
I kind of messed it up.
Okay. Who have you got?
Okay, I've got 2. I've got,
I
funnily
love it
enough...
when you bring like more than one.
Thank you. Funnily enough, I'm going to lead on from your wing and a prayer because I put Ronald Jones in the future waiver wire.
Yes, good.
Because if you're in redraft, he might be available. Probably not Dynasty. People will have him. But redraft, he might be there. And I pretty much said what you said about Peyton Barber, and he out-touched Peyton Barber actually last week, led the team in rushing even though it was 29 yards.
28, I said.
The other guy that I put in there, now he's on IR and he's scheduled to come back week 9, which I know is a little way away, but I kind of just wanted to flag Jake Kumaro because he was like the dude of the preseason. That Green Bay wide receiver core, I mean, I've heard lots of people talking this week about Valdez Scantling and... I think that wide receiver core is completely wide open. Randall Cobb looks very ordinary. Devontae Adams is the only real guy that's got a secure spot.
No, Geronimo!
Well, Geronimo's been good, hasn't he? But I think that Kumaro could find himself, especially if Cobb gets hurt, and he's kind of dinged up, isn't he, anyway? Or frequently. So it might be good to go and get him and stash him if you can. Anyway.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I picked him up. I've still got him on my IR sting.
Right. Yeah. Very good.
I've got Deontay Foreman with what's happening there in the backfield at the Texans. He's possibly due back week 7 because he's on the pup. So is it after week 7 or at week 7? No idea what he's going to be like. He did the Achilles. I don't know of any running backs that have come back and tore it up from an Achilles tendon, but there's been other positions that have done it, but we'll just have to wait and see. So he's someone who could go and take a flyer on, stick him on there if it doesn't work out, where you just get rid of him. And look, is it fair to put Baker Mayfield on the future waiver wire?
He's probably owned, do you think?
In Superflex leagues he would be, but in single...
Standard redraft he probably isn't. You're
not.
probably right. Okay, no, it's fair. All right. I think he's got a good run. Haven't the Browns got a good run?
They do have a very good run. I'll tell you how good a run. They play the Chargers this week, who are ranked 23rd against quarterbacks. For the next 2 weeks, in weeks 7 and 8, they play the Bucks, who are 32, and the Steelers, who are ranked 31.
Wow.
And in week 9, he then plays at home against the Chiefs, who are ranked 28th.
Okay, anyone else to add in there, G?
I brought 2.
Awesome.
How many did you bring?
2.
Good.
Let's go to Twitter questions, G. First cab off the rank from Neil Gray. Hey, Neil. He asks, he's in our Melbourne League.
I know Neil.
You do know Neil. He asks...
He sat to my left.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
He sat to your left?
Yep.
Okay. So he must have
At
been...
draft night.
On my right.
He would have been on your right. Well, you're at the head of the table.
I was at the head of the table. That's
Everybody
where
sits.
where I belong.
Mate.
Head of the
no
table.
doubt. Yes, you do. You run
Bottom of the league.
You are the bottom. You're in the bottom of the league in a lot.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
not
are.
in a lot. Only just leagues that coincidentally you're in as well. So he asks, start sit Flacco versus Trubisky. So Flacco, I'll tell you, it's the battle of the top 5 defenses. The 3-2 Ravens are at the 3-2 Titans. And then the Bears, the Trubisky, the 3-1 Bears at the 3-2 Dolphins. So obviously we've been speaking about the Finns defense.
And the Finns defense is a lot better at home.
But you got Trubisky coming off that game. But we know that that's not the truth. The truth is between that and what he probably started the year out as, I guess.
I think Flacco's doing a fine job.
He is, actually.
If Crabtree could actually hold on to a ball, his numbers would be even better.
So make a pick. Who are you going with?
I'm going to go against the Titans too, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, Trubisky. After I just talked up Flacco.
Yeah.
But the Titans are at home.
I think I'd go Trubisky as well. Okay.
Geez, that's
close to call.
It is.
That is close to call. From Justin Bolton. Hey, Justin. He says, more a comment, he says, how good is Barkley? Wow. First time I've seen him play. He had a hell of a game. And he also adds, the Giants are shit. Yes, correct. Actually, more Eli. We were speaking about that at the top. But
No, I'm putting it on everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, except Barkley.
Except Barkley. Whew. And actually, it does raise the question, and the media won't let go of this question because of the play of Eli, but it does raise the question that
It's a very
should
good question.
they have picked Barkley
No.
with the number
No.
2 pick?
No, they shouldn't have.
They could have. Well, they couldn't have got Baker
Mate,
Mayfield.
If you can go and get a quarterback from next year's draft that turns out to be good straight up,
yeah.
well, then it's been perfect.
Well, they could have had Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but you don't get Barkley. Now, to
No.
me, is Barkley ran, like I said, either caught it or ran the ball for 200 plus yards. They scored a touchdown. Did they even get close to winning the game?
No.
No.
And that ultimately is the proof in the pudding,
It
isn't
is
it?
1-5, and Barkley's having a very good year
Yep.
for a rookie.
Yes.
He's having a very good year for a running back full stop.
Full stop.
And are they any good? No.
Yes.
You said yes. No.
No. Yes.
Yes.
What did I say?
No.
I don't know. From Tim Moody. Hey, Tim. He says, following on, actually, it's very similar. Do you think Barkley will win the Giants more games over the next couple of years than Eli will lose?
No.
Well, no.
Mate, we just spoke about it.
And
Prime
that,
example today.
therein lies the problem. And I did hear some media today say, while I was watching the broadcast, I just watched bits of it.
Do they move on from Eli
Well, hang
this
on.
year?
Oh, no, not this year.
Why
I wouldn't
not?
think.
Why not?
Well, who could they possibly get? Make a trade for Teddy, maybe.
Hey, there we go.
That wouldn't be bad.
There we go. RG3 looked okay in the pre-season.
Yeah, got to be better than Eli.
Oh, mate, anything's better than Manning.
Can you believe in that Saints game that Sean Payton put Teddy on to kneel? That was so stupid. Why couldn't Drew Brees kneel at the end of the game?
Why did he put him on to kneel?
I've got no idea.
Who else was covering to kneel?
Boom Tish. The captain. Okay, Tim also asks, who's the next Giants quarterback? Going to be draft or veteran?
Mate, I think with who they have,
Has to be a veteran.
yeah.
But
Mate,
honestly,
you have an offense. You have an offense that can, if you had a decent quarterback. The problem with Eli Manning is Eli Manning cannot leave the pocket
no.
at all. Full stop. Can't get outside the hashes, let alone like move outside of the hashes. And
Hey,
throw
what
the
was
ball.
your prediction? What about Joe Flacco?
Joe Flacco was going to the Jags. Was my bet.
That wouldn't be bad. But there's guys out there.
Yep.
And we've already spoken about the quarterback class next year. And, you know, as you said, with the pieces they've got, do they really want a rookie in there? And then, you know, it's going to take a year or two and
And he might not work out.
might
because
not
you
work
can't-
out.
Yep. And then you've wasted Barkley. You paid Beckham a shitload of cash.
Yes.
You got Evan Ingram sitting there.
Yeah. So anyway, don't know, Tim, but I actually
Sterling
think
Shepard.
it'll be a veteran. From Craft Beer Jay. Hey, Jay, I'm going to let you answer this question.
What's he got?
How are babies made, he asks. Well, you said ask any questions about life.
About
or-
life?
Yeah.
I think we all know how babies are made.
Now, just quietly, I think he's got kids, hasn't he? How'd that happen?
Jay?
Yeah.
He does have kids.
Accidentally, obviously.
Well, let's face it, Jay's not the one having the kid.
Well, no. Oh.
There we go. So
Jay.
if you're asking me that question, Jay, I think you're talking to the wrong person, asking the wrong person the wrong question.
Ask the milkman.
I think you may be speaking to somebody else that you share a roof with. Maybe I shouldn't say that about.
No, you shouldn't. And
But Jay knows me well enough.
anyway, we're not seriously going to answer it, are we?
I can if you want me to.
Well, we both know the answer.
Yes.
But that's okay. From the analyst.
And I say practice makes perfect.
From the analyst. Gee,
Yes, Chris.
it's that time of year for making babies. No. It's that time of year. Spring Carnival.
Yeah. Yes.
We'll see some horrific crimes against fashion. Give the blokes out there some advice. Brown shoes,
No.
socks,
No.
waistcoats.
Yeah, he has. I don't mind the waistcoat, but I agree. Brown shoes, no socks. Come on. Be a grown up.
Pocket squares?
Nothing wrong with a pocket square, Chris.
No, that's not bad. Matching belts?
You have to match your belt with your shoes.
Yes.
And if you're wearing a leather band watch, it has to match as well.
What's the go, G? Get men sorted out. So just why don't you paint a bit of a picture, G? What would if you were going to the Spring Carnival?
I'm actually going on Wednesday.
Are you really?
Yeah, I think that's why he asked the question.
Oh, really?
That's
Get
not
out of
that-
town.
Has he got another question there, or was that the only one?
Is that a regular gig? You don't normally do that, do you?
No, I actually, good friends, my best mate, they get in a marquee in the members, but you have to pay. It's like $300
Ooh.
And I just said, look, mate, I'm not going to take a day off because I work for myself, so I'm not going to lose that wage and pay $300. I'm going on holiday soon. I'd rather spend $300 overseas.
Yeah.
And then he rang me up last week and said, look, I got a spare ticket. Do you want to go? And I said, what? Am I a charity now? And I said, mate, I'm not taking. I can't take it. Someone else will go and buy it. He goes, no, mate, I really want you to come. So
That's
I said, okay, which mate,
very nice.
He's a great bloke.
Yeah.
And my mate Stu. And so rocking up to, it's a Wednesday meeting, Blue Sapphire Day. I don't think there's like a theme like they do for like the Melbourne Cup and Derby Day and Oaks. There's a theme. I don't think there's one. So, no, put the bag of fruit on, mate, and head down there with the pocket. What do you call it?
Pocket square.
Pocket square.
Yes.
That'll be tucked in.
Very, very nice.
And yes, there will be wearing of socks and there will be black shoes.
And we also just had, I'll give a shout out to the NFL Australia Twitter account who said, have a good show.
Thank you.
So go and give them a follow, and I think they tweet out, when games are on and that sort of thing, what networks, etc. So that's it, G.
Done.
Another pod in the books. It was a good one.
A bit of a bit of producing for you and editing for you to do now, mate, because there's a lot of coughing in there today.
Yeah, I won't be able to get rid of all of it. A lot
of mistakes by me.
Here.
Had to sit down and actually... The biggest thing about when I write something down is I write something down and then I don't remember why I wrote it down.
Yes, you should use... Actually, I was going to say you should use complete sentences, but no, you should do little dot points, but I don't know, just make it clearer. I don't know. You must obviously understood it when you wrote it down.
It made complete sense when I wrote it down.
Exactly.
But, 24 hours later, not so much.
Not so much. All right, well, hope you've enjoyed this little edition of Aussie Guys Pod. G and myself in the studio, all in our lonesome. Well, not on lonesome. We enjoy it. It's fine. It's good. But
Shafted by Sheps.
Shafted by Sheps.
That's a new segment we're going to have. Shafted by Sheps.
That's right. Anyway, hope your fantasy teams are going good. I was going to say maybe we should do that next week, is talk a little bit about a fantasy stock take. I mean, I'm in a lot of leagues. I'm in too many leagues, G. I'm in over 20. But I've got a few teams that are 0-5. And at that point, I think it's reasonable to say that's it.
Well, we have one league where Tyler left our league.
Oh, yeah.
Because, mate, he had to cut 6 or something, didn't he? Even 6 probably wasn't enough. So I'd hate to think how many leagues he was in.
Yeah.
But thanks for playing for half a year.
Look, I understand it.
Yeah.
Because, you do, especially us, we kind of like to, for the pod, it helps, we kind of like to do a start-up or two each year.
Yep.
And then your leagues start to kind of add up. I've got a colour for you.
Snowball.
They snowball.
They do.
And then it takes, it's an exercise of a few hours just to set your lineups. Not to mention checking players for scratches. But what I've been doing is, now someone said something similar to this, might have been the analyst, that I know the analyst doesn't start players that are questionable. So
makes it easy.
It makes it easier because, when you've got a lot of leagues especially, like sometimes you and I both have gotten up at like 3 a.m.
Oh, I used to do that.
Check.
I ain't doing that anymore.
No. As when you've got that many leagues, it's not like a 5-minute exercise,
No.
You're up for a good half an hour, 40 minutes or something, and then you've got to go back to bed, and it's hard to go back to bed. You're sort of like, your eyes are wide open. So anyway, you're right.
No, granted, and then you're in the bad books with the missus for waking her up probably.
My word. You have to kind of creep around the house, and there's always that floorboard. You step on it, and it's like loud. It's all get out. Middle of the night.
I'll tell you a story, just quickly.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I had lived in a 2-story house. My brother slept on the top story. My parents were on the bottom story. Now, when I had a girlfriend stay over, my dad was a very strict man. I was not allowed to, even at the age of 21.
Wow.
Dating the girl for 4 years. We're not allowed to sleep inside the house in the same bed. And I discovered very quickly that if you walk in there and the bedroom was straight below mine.
Yes.
That if you spread eagle and commando crawl across the floor, you don't get creaks if you spread the weight.
Oh, you spread the weight.
Spread the weight. Don't stand up and directly all the way through.
Right.
Spread it out.
Ah, that's clever. Very good. So there's your advice.
There's your advice.
Finish off the...
If you have a girlfriend you're not allowed to share the room with when she stays over,
spread eagle.
Spread
Commando
eagle.
crawl.
Commando crawl. Yep. No creaky boards.
Sorts it out. No creaky boards. There you go. All right. Well, hope you've enjoyed this week's edition. Hope your teams are going well. And thanks for listening, as I always say, but we do appreciate it. And thanks for your Twitter questions and likes on the drinks of the pod. And speaking of which, we've got to finish ours. I think you might be
Mine's
finished.
gone.
Yours is gone. I've still got to finish mine. But I've got to go and edit now, so I can finish it while I edit. But thanks, everybody. On behalf of G and myself, catch you next time.